Hello my friends, welcome back to another MMA breakdown video. I'm very excited about this one. This is actually my second fight as a professional in mixed martial arts. And I just come off my first win in my very first pro fight by knockout in the first round. It's a lot of firsts. And I was super excited to get in there and try to do it again. And ultimately try to put on a good show and good fight for the fans. So let's get to the action here. So this event was a UCC event. A UCC Proving Grounds was the name, and it was exactly that. It was a chance for us fighters, including many future UFC fighters, to prove to the promoter that we were ready for their bigger events, for their main card events that were at arenas. This was in a hotel ballroom, probably maybe 100 or 200 people watching. So it wasn't a huge one in terms of spectators watching, but it was a great opportunity for all of us to build some experience. You see that toque I'm wearing there. I'll give you a closer look to that. And I got to rep my boxing coach, Vito Brancaccio, all Canadian martial arts. I met him years earlier, and we had been practicing all the time. He would one-on-one lessons, and his attention to detail was insane. So if you ever get a chance in Mississauga, check him out. All Canadian martial arts, unbelievable. I learned so much from him. I used to drive an hour each way, pretty much almost every day, to train with him. And I had done kickboxing and karate and stuff growing up with my dad all the way. Jiu-jitsu for many, many years, competing here as a brown belt at this time in jiu-jitsu. So everything was kind of coming together. And I've been wrestling with my wrestling friends, starting to go to wrestling practices as well, and just building all the experiences I knew I needed to be able to hopefully one day fight amongst the world's best. You see, I already have a black eye. I used to get marked up so easy, and we used to train so hard, lots of sparring. Maybe even too much sparring back then, but always had a black eye. And my wife actually didn't allow me to spar for a month before we got married because I had always had black eyes in every single important family picture. And just looking forward, I have to apologize for my friend here. He was super excited to see me fight, and I think he had a couple of beers at this point, so he gets a little excited out there.
Okay, go ahead.
I may have to beep out a few curse words throughout. So right there you can see my cornerman. On the left, he just left the screen there, but it was Bill, one of our instructors, kickboxing instructor, longtime student. Bill, he was in my corner. My dad couldn't make it that day, and my coach Vito, my boxing coach, couldn't make it, so I had Bill and my brother. My brother actually trained. We were yellow belts together. We both kind of started martial arts when we were young. He ended up stopping, and I kept going forward with it, but he was out in my corner, so I was interested to see what he would say on the breaks. We were making some jokes about it. And Bill, again, has experience, so both of them came all the way out to Victoriaville to support me. Again, back then it was illegal for Canadian shows to use cages, so we had to use rings, and I think they actually called it mixed boxing, if I'm remembering correctly. Mixed boxing was the term, just to kind of get around the legalities of cage fighting and so forth. You see, my opponent is Beaulieu. So he's 3-2, I believe, at this time. 5 fights experience. This was my second fight. We had a good feeling this would be a good opponent to test our skills. He was training. You can see his cornerman is on the right in the blue shirt is Ivan Menjivar, future UFC fighter, Canadian MMA pioneer, and he's great grappler, great martial artist. And then down below with the red shirt in his corner as well is George St. Pierre. Of course, we all know him, and he's done amazing things, obviously trailblazing for mixed martial arts in Canada. And I remember he was in my division at that time, and I didn't want to talk to him at all because potentially we all could fight each other. So I think he was like 3-0 and I was 1-0, and I remember the promoter wanted me to build my way up so that I could challenge him for the title and go against him. So who would have thought that he would go on to be the most accomplished Canadian MMA fighter, one of the most accomplished in the world. So he just got into the UFC Hall of Fame, so shout out to George. So going back to not talking to him, I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't want to talk to the other guys in my division because I probably had to fight them one day. But George was hard not to talk to because he was so nice. He was such a nice person. And I remember even at the weigh-ins one time, he's like, "Hey Jeff, you want an orange?" And I was like, "Ah!" And he threw me an orange, and he was just a good person. So it was cool to see that, to have to see him go on and do so well.
Woodburn et Philippe Chartier. L'arbitre, Monsieur Mike Stark. Notre prochain combat est un super défi de la catégorie.
So you can see it's all in French. They have French and English. And all our fights, we weren't allowed to fight in our home province of Ontario. It was illegal, so we went to Quebec to fight. So it was tough. It was always tough to be the the outside guy and always fighting the hometown people. And usually when someone brings you in to fight, it's they'll put you against some of the tougher guys that were in the local area. But the promoter here, he always gave me a fair shake, and I think he wanted to kind of build me up in the promotion.
Hamilton, Ontario, mesurant 6 pieds, pesant 169 livres. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he is a veteran of
funny thing is, I just remembered now. So you see those shorts? Those are shorts called sprawl, and that's like these were the first shorts that actually looked like board shorts. They were kind of like normal looking short. So when I started fighting, at that point, most people had those super. If you've seen them, those super tight ones, they form right to your body. Sometimes you've seen them in the old school ones with the double eyes on the butt cheeks. I think they're called Bad Boy shorts, or whatever. The company was Bad Boy from Brazil. But these were the board shorts, so I was happy to wear those because I had worn those super tight ones, and they're just kind of, I don't know, kind of felt awkward looking. I think my opponent actually, we'll see what he has on. But I'm betting he has the tight ones because you couldn't get these shorts. They were very, very rare.
1-0, coming from Hamilton, Ontario, standing at 6 foot tall and weighing 169 pounds. Please welcome the Phenom, Jeff Joslin.
So I didn't hear that. I actually heard my next fight, but the promoter, I guess, had given me the nickname, the Phenom. He threw that in there, and I didn't realize it because we didn't have a nickname. I didn't send in any nickname. And it was just the next fight I remember hearing it and looking at my coach saying, "What, the Phenom? What's up?"
J-Man, represent!
Son adversaire au coin rouge, il participe ce soir à son 5e combat chez les professionnels. Sa fiche en combat ultime est de 3 victoires et 1 seule défaite. Il nous vient de Longueuil, Québec, mesurant 6 pieds, pesant 165 livres. His opponent fighting out of...
So just a little background here before we start. I almost didn't make this fight. I had a bit of fight or flight reflex before that, and I almost pulled out just due to nerves. So I ended up working myself back in here, and I'll share that story another time, but I got in here and I was ready for action, but it was tough before this.
Beaulieu!
And this announced him was 3-1. I didn't know what his record was, but I guess it was 3-1 at that point.
J-Man, knock him out because my arm's getting tired.
Okay, so my first fight I fought 185 pounds. I figured out about weight cutting, and this was my first fight at welterweight, 170. And they actually called it super middleweight, I believe, here in Quebec for some reason. I think it was kind of the boxing weight divisions, whatever was 170.
Roll out.
So back then it's very rare to find videotapes of each other. Like you can even see the quality of this is not very good. It was rare. It's not like today where everybody has a cell phone taking videos, YouTube. There was none of that. And it was tough to find videos of your opponent. So I didn't know much about him. He probably didn't know much about me. And I was just trying to feel it out. I was moving my head, just trying to see how he reacts. He's moving away a little bit. I'm not sure if he wants to strike. I'm not sure if he wants to grapple. And that's the beauty of mixed martial arts. You're trying to solve each other's puzzle right on the spot. You can see how the head movement kind of drew that kick out. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to kind of fake like you're going. He kicks and you kind of get a feel for his speed, his rhythm. And I wanted to strike here. Good head movement there. He moved out of the way of the jab.
Down he goes.
So I didn't really want to grapple there. It's just all of a sudden we both missed a punch, and we just came in and we ended up clinching, and I ended up getting a takedown. I'm like, okay, jiu-jitsu's on, and that's how fast I can switch. It's just kind of autopilot. So I'm in the half guard now.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He's good on the ground. I heard he's good on the ground. He's going for the back.
I end up passing the guard here. He kind of wrapped my head up. You can see, I'll just fast forward a bit more. You can see his left arm's around my head. He's holding on tight, so it makes it tough for me to really create a lot of separation and rain down some strikes.
Just got the side now. Hey, go, 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 go! Hey, down in front!
So I start twisting my hips up here a little bit and turning a bit on my right side so I can throw my left hook. See there? Left hook, left hook. It gives me a bit of ability to hit when he's holding my head like that. And then he has to see how he had to unlock it. He had to unlock to react to that hitting. And I start to go, I'm looking to go mount again here, and I think he maybe wraps my head up again. I'm not sure. Yeah, again, he covers up my head. I could have went maybe arm triangle there.
Screen when I'm talking. Man, I think my heart's pumping faster.
This is the cool part, you know, you get to finally ground and pound. You can grapple, but now you can hit. You can hit with the elbows. You can do some strikes. I used to kind of call it ground boxing. It was a lot of fun to mix that in.
That's it.
Tried to pop knee on stomach there, but he did a good job popping it off there. And again, he's kind of holding my head in that weird position. So now I figured something out. I hold his head. And for some reason, in the UFC, you were not allowed to knee the person in the head when they're on the ground. But in UCC, you still could do that. So I ended up throwing a couple knees here to the head. That one hit pretty good, I think.
Merci. He's got to land a couple or he wouldn't keep doing it. Jeff doesn't waste time, right? He just opened his spot.
Again, kept trying those knees, and now pop in the mount position. So this is the best position here. If you guys can get the mount position, you can hit them and they cannot do damage to you anymore. Your arms can reach down into them and they can't reach up to hit your face. So it's a good position. It's all offense. And your opponent has a choice to either turn and give you the back or stay and take punishment from the front here.
Relax up there, relax up there.
And for some reason, I almost forgot my jiu-jitsu. I was a brown belt at the time here, but I didn't even think about submissions. I was just thinking about punching. If I can do damage, even if he gets out of here, at least he's going to pay the price now. It's not going to be the same fighter. He's going to be tougher for him. He's going to be tired. He's going to have some damage done. I'm going to be up. But if you just grapple and try a submission, boom, the guy gets out. All of a sudden, he's hitting you. You didn't really make him pay for getting in those bad positions. So I wanted to strike from here and potentially even finish the fight. So I'd say it's a blend of boxing and jiu-jitsu, ground boxing. So he turns over again to mount a couple more strikes. He turns on his side. He's trying to get his guard back. And then throw a few more hooks. And you can see there with the hips flattening, it's very tough. And with that, the referee stopped the fight. Got my second win.
J-Man knocking ass in Victoriaville. Woo! Say it, bro. Oh, he didn't do the kick.
I almost did my tornado kick there. At the end of my first fight, I got so excited I jumped up and I did a fancy karate kick I used to do. And I was just about to do it there, but I think the referee felt too close. I didn't want to kick him in the face. That would have been pretty bad. A good feeling when there's two sides of the coin. On a winning side, it's amazing feeling. You put all that hard work in. Everything goes according to plan. In 2 fights, I hadn't taken any damage. So mixed martial arts was beautiful. It was so much fun. Oh, actually, the funny part was I see Bill behind me there. But while I was on top of him, I could hear my brother, who I thought would be going wild because he doesn't train as much. He was just like, Jeff, take your time, pick your shots. And Bill, the guy who has more training, was yelling, smash his skull. It was just we had some good laughs after. But it's, your friends are in there, you're emotional, and sometimes just say some crazy things, myself included, when I'm coaching.
Mesdames, Messieurs, votre vainqueur, par chaos technique, abandon à 2 minutes 49 secondes du premier round. Winner by TKO after 2 minutes 49 seconds of the first round.
I think at this point, I wasn't surprised. Now that might seem arrogant, but you can't. In my opinion, you cannot be surprised by your victory. You train for this. You work hard for this. You put everything you have into this. You have to expect to win. And when it happens to you, you can't be surprised. You know, you put the work in. You might surprise the opponent. You might surprise his cornerman. You might surprise your own cornerman. You might surprise your friends, people in the crowd, people that didn't expect you to win in that fashion. But if you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to get to that point. So you have to believe, you have to see it, and when it happens, it's just boom, it's just in your mind, it's just another step forward, an expected step forward. Don't hope to win, you have to know you're going to win.
Jeff Joslin.
All right, so that was my second mixed martial arts fight. Hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown, and that was just another step for me forward towards hopefully getting to fight amongst the world's best in the UFC, and things were going well, and I was really excited to get in there for my next competition, and maybe I'll break that one down for you soon as well. So thanks so much for tuning in, and appreciate the likes, appreciate those subscriptions, and I'll see you online soon.